Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through an old jar of pennies, maybe one your grandparents left behind, and bam! You come across a coin that looks a little different. Could it be worth $1 million? Yes, you heard that right, a penny, worth $1 million. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of the 1988 Mint Mark Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, and how you just might have one sitting in your couch cushions right now. So, grab your coffee, your jar of change, and let's get started. Alright, let's set the stage. The 1988 Lincoln penny doesn't look all that special at first glance. It's got good old Abe on the front, as always, and the classic Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's the kicker: certain pennies from 1988, minted in Denver, have a little something extra that collectors are absolutely losing their minds over. And now, what makes this particular penny worth a cool million? It's all about the minting process. You see, the US Mint occasionally makes mistakes, tiny imperfections that can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. In the case of the 1988 penny, some coins were minted with a transitional error. This means they used a die intended for a different year, and as a result, the coin has unique features that make it incredibly rare. Rare equals valuable. It's like finding a limited edition sneaker in your size, but, for coin nerds. Here's a quick way to check: flip your penny over and look closely at the reverse. Pay attention to the FG initials under the Lincoln Memorial, which stand for the designer Frank Gasparo. On some 1988 pennies, the FG has a subtle difference. This is what makes them so unique. Still with me? Great! Now let me tell you a funny story about how I first got into coin collecting. A few years ago, I found an old jar of change in my parents' basement. I wasn't expecting much, but hey, I had some free time. So, I started sorting through the coins. At first, it was just pennies, nickels, and a handful of dimes. But then, I found a penny that looked odd. My heart started racing. I thought I had found $1 million coin. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. It was just a super dirty penny. But that moment sparked my curiosity, and here we are today, talking about actual $1 million pennies. Let's get back to business. You're probably wondering, how do I know if my 1988 penny is the one worth $1 million? Here's the deal: condition matters. A collector's dream is a coin in pristine condition, what's known as mint state. If your penny has been jingling around in your pocket with your keys for the past 35 years, it might not fetch the full million, but it could still be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. So, what should you do if you think you found one? First, don't clean it. I know it's tempting to make it all shiny, but cleaning a coin can actually decrease its value. Instead, take it to a professional coin grader or a reputable coin dealer. They'll help you determine its true value. And who knows? You might just walk out of there with enough money to buy a car, pay off some debt, or take that dream vacation. Alright, my fellow coin hunters, we've covered a lot today. From the fascinating quirks of the 1988 Lincoln penny to what makes it so valuable, I hope you're inspired to dig through your change jar and see what treasures you might find. Remember, the next time you're about to toss a penny aside, give it a closer look. You never know what you might be holding. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, tips for finding hidden treasures, or just enjoy a good story, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Let's turn that pocket change into big bucks together. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're digging around in your car's cup holder, fishing out some change to pay for your morning coffee. You pull out a penny, toss it aside, and think, it's just a penny. Well, hold on, because what if I told you that one penny, a 2016 Mint Mark Lincoln penny to be exact, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million? Yes, you heard me right. A single cent could change your life. Stick around, because today we're diving into the story behind this incredible coin. We'll talk about why it's worth so much, how to spot it, and I'll even share a personal story about the time I almost missed out on a valuable coin. Let's get started. Let's talk about what makes the 2016 Mint Mark Lincoln penny so special. First off, the lack of a mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, most coins from Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, so that's not unusual. What is unusual is the condition and rarity of this penny. The one that sold for $1.1 million was graded as mint state perfect, meaning it was in pristine condition. No scratches, no wear and tear, just as flawless as the day it was minted. And now, here's the million-dollar question: how do you know if you've got one of these valuable pennies? Start by checking the year. It has to say 2016. Then, flip it over and look for signs of a mint mark, usually a tiny letter like D or S. If there's no letter, congratulations, you've passed the first test. But wait, don't run to eBay just yet. The key to this coin's value lies in its condition. Experts grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70, and only those graded 68 and above are worth serious money. So, if your penny has been through the ringer, tossed in pockets, dropped on the ground, or chewed on by the dog, it's probably not going to hit that $1 million mark. Let me tell you a little story to make this real. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out an old drawer when I found a handful of coins. Among them was a shiny penny. It was a 2016 no mint mark penny, and for a split second, I thought I'd struck gold or, copper. But then I took a closer look. It had a few scratches, and the edges were worn. My dreams of buying a private island? Crushed. But here's the thing: that experience taught me to pay attention to my change. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. And guess what? I eventually did find a rare coin, though not worth $1.1 million, and sold it for a few $1,000s. Not too shabby for something that was just sitting in a junk drawer. So, how can you avoid missing out on a jackpot penny? Start by checking your change regularly. Invest in a magnifying glass or even a coin grading app to get a closer look at your coins. If you think you've got something special, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll certify its condition and authenticity, which is crucial if you want to sell it for top dollar. Let's add a bit of humor here. Imagine this scenario: you're at the grocery store, paying for a cart full of snacks, and the cashier hands you some change. You spot a 2016 penny, and your heart skips a beat. You lean in closer, squinting like Sherlock Holmes. The cashier asks, "Is everything okay?" And you blurt out, "I think I just became a millionaire." Cue awkward silence. But hey, who cares? You've got a potential treasure in your hand. So, what's the moral of the story? Never underestimate the humble penny. That little coin sitting in your pocket could be your ticket to financial freedom. The 2016 no mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that treasure hunting isn't just for pirates, it's for everyday people like you and me. Before you go, here's your call to action. If you love learning about coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and join our community of coin enthusiasts. I've got plenty more tips, stories, and strategies to help you turn pocket change into serious cash. And who knows? Maybe your next penny will be worth $1 million. We're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins that could change your life, starting with one of the most elusive and valuable pennies out there. Yes, we're talking about the 1976 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This humble 1-cent coin might just be sitting in your jar of spare change, but guess what? It's worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Let that sink in. Imagine turning a penny into $1 million. Sounds unreal, right? Well, stick around, because I'll explain exactly why this coin is worth so much, what makes it special, and how you might just have one hiding in plain sight. But before we jump in, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old drawer at my grandma's house when I stumbled upon a small tin of coins. They were dusty, forgotten, and looked pretty ordinary. Being the coin nerd that I am, I took a closer look. Most of them were just your run-of-the-mill pennies, but there was one that looked different. For a moment, I thought I'd struck gold or copper, in this case. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a 1976 no mint mark penny, but it taught me the importance of always checking your coins. Who knows? You could be holding onto something life-changing. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1976 no mint mark penny so special. First things first, when we say no mint mark, we're referring to the fact that this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use a mint mark on pennies back then. So, if your 1976 penny doesn't have a little D or S under the date, you're already on the right track. But here's the kicker: what really sets this coin apart isn't just the lack of a mint mark. It's the condition and the specific errors that occurred during production. Some of these pennies have unique characteristics like double die errors or unusual metal compositions. In short, They're the result of happy little accidents that make collectors go wild. The key here is rarity. The rarer the coin, the higher the value. And in the world of coin collecting, this penny is about as rare as finding a parking spot in a crowded city on a Saturday night. Now, you're probably wondering how this coin ended up being worth $1.2 million. Well, it's all about demand. Collectors love unique pieces of history, and they're willing to pay top dollar for them. Think of it like Pokemon cards or vintage sneakers. When something's rare and sought after, the price skyrockets. So, how do you know if you have one of these golden, Copperage tickets? First, grab a magnifying glass and inspect your 1976 pennies. Check for the lack of a mint mark and look closely for any unusual features. If you're unsure, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate and grade your coin, which is crucial if you're planning to sell it. Speaking of selling, let's talk strategy. If you do happen to own one of these coins, don't rush to the first buyer who offers you cash. Do your research and consider auctioning it through a reputable platform. That's where the big money is. Some of the highest sales for rare coins happen at auctions where collectors are willing to outbid each other. It's like eBay on steroids, but for millionaires. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. What are the chances of actually finding one of these pennies? I'll be honest, they're slim. But here's the thing, rare coins like this have been found in the most unexpected places. People have discovered them in old piggy banks, couch cushions, and even at flea markets. It's all about keeping your eyes open and knowing what to look for. So, there you have it, the story of the 1976 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth a staggering $1.2 million. It's a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things in life can hold the biggest surprises. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who's curious about the value of the spare change in your pocket, this is your sign to start paying attention. Who knows? Your next big break might be hiding in your junk drawer. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this thought. Coins like these aren't just valuable because of their rarity, they're little pieces of history. They've traveled through countless hands, seen decades of change, and now, they could change your life. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join our community of treasure hunters, and let's uncover the hidden gems in your collection together. And hey, if you find a rare coin after watching this, drop a comment and share your story. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Imagine this, you're rummaging through your couch cushions, or maybe you're cashing out your piggy bank, and boom, you come across a simple, brown penny. You're about to toss it into a coin jar, but wait. What if I told you that penny might be worth $1.3 million? That's right, just one little coin could change your entire financial game. Intrigued? Good, because today we're talking about the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny and why it's got collectors going absolutely bonkers. And stick around because I'll share a story about how I almost missed out on a valuable coin myself. Yikes, okay, so let's get into it. The 1972 penny without a mint mark is like the Beyoncé of pennies. Regular coins are cool, but this one's in a league of its own. Why? It's all about the doubling. Some of these pennies were struck with what's called a double die, which means the design, like Abe Lincoln's profile or the letters, looks like it's shadowed or doubled. It's not a factory defect, it's like an accidental masterpiece. If you're squinting at your screen wondering if you've seen one, relax. The doubling is super noticeable even without a magnifying glass. Trust me, this isn't one of those blink and you'll miss it things. And now, you're probably thinking, okay, cool, but why would someone drop over $1 million for a penny? Simple. Rarity plus demand equals big money. Out of the billions of pennies made in 1972, only a small number of these double die errors exist. Think of it like finding a Picasso in your attic, but way smaller and much shinier. Collectors go crazy for unique coins, especially when they're tied to historical moments. And let's face it, anything connected to Abraham Lincoln is automatically iconic. Here's the part where you start digging through every penny you've ever hoarded. To spot a 1972 double die penny, look closely at the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look like they've had a few too many coffees and decided to double up, you might be holding a jackpot. And here's the kicker, this penny doesn't have a mint mark. That means it was minted in Philadelphia, but they decided not to brag about it. Classic Philly, am I right? Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car. Pro tip: don't let it get to science experiment levels, and I found a penny stuck under the driver's seat. It was old, crusty, and had definitely seen better days. I almost tossed it into a vending machine for a bag of chips. But something told me to check it out. Turns out, it wasn't worth millions, but it was worth a couple $100. Not bad for a snack run, right? That experience taught me to never underestimate the power of pocket change. Who knows? You might already have a 1972 double-die penny chilling in your collection, just waiting to be discovered. So, what have we learned today? Pennies are way cooler than we thought, and you should definitely give them a second look before throwing them into a Coinstar machine. The 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes, the smallest things hold the biggest surprises. If you're feeling inspired to dig through your coin jar, I'd love to hear what you find. Drop a comment below if you think you've struck gold or, in this case, copper, and hey, if you want more tips on valuable coins, hidden treasures, and how to turn your pocket change into a fortune, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like this video and share it with a friend who might have their own $1 million penny sitting in a drawer. Hey, what's up, coin collectors and treasure hunters? Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, what if this little copper coin is worth way more than just 1 cent? Well, you're not alone. I was there once too. I remember digging through a jar of old pennies at home and pulling out a 1964 Lincoln penny. I almost tossed it back in with the rest, but something stopped me. I had a weird feeling, like that coin was staring me down, saying, "Don't underestimate me, pal." And guess what? I didn't. Turns out, it wasn't just any penny, it was worth a heck of a lot more than I ever imagined. So, today, we're diving into the value of the 1964 Lincoln penny, a coin that could be worth up to $1.4 million. Yep, you heard me right. A penny. And I'm not talking about the ones you find stuck under the couch cushions. This one is special, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why. First off, let's talk about the 1964 penny in general. This little guy was made at the Denver Mint, which is why it's got the D mint mark. Now, the Lincoln penny was first released back in 1909, and it's been through a lot over the years, from changes in design to all the different mint marks, including the D for Denver. In 1964, we saw the last of the pre-1965 coins with a high copper content, 95% copper, 5% tin, and zinc. After 1964, pennies were made with a lower copper content, which means they weren't as heavy and didn't have the same shiny appeal. So, the 1964 penny is actually a bit of a gem because it has the old-school feel and weight of a classic penny. And now, you might be wondering, why on earth would a 1964 penny be worth $1.4 million? Well, let me tell you, it's all about rarity and condition. See, there's a super tiny chance that during its minting, a few of these pennies were made with errors. And when we talk about error coins, we're talking about something that wasn't supposed to happen, like a misstrike, a double die, or some weird flaw that makes the coin extra unique. If you're lucky enough to have a 1964 Lincoln penny with one of these rare errors, it could be worth big money. We're talking up to $1.4 million. And before you go rummaging through your pockets, let me tell you, most of those 1964 pennies are, well, not worth $1.4 million. But hey, if you've got one in mint condition or with a rare mistake, you could be holding onto some serious cash. I've had a few aha moments when finding valuable coins. Just a couple of months ago, I was at a local coin shop, and an older gentleman walked in holding a tin can filled with old coins. He asked the dealer if any of them were worth something. The dealer picked up one coin, glanced at it, and his face lit up. It was a 1964 penny, but not just any penny, it had a double die. That little mistake made the coin worth $10,000, and it was in rough shape. Now, I'm not saying every 1964 penny is going to make you rich, but there are definitely some ways to increase your chances. If you happen to come across one that looks a little different or has some strange markings, get it checked out by a professional. You never know, and here's a funny little secret: I once thought I had a rare penny, only to realize it was just dirt. You know, I could have sworn it was a special error coin, but after a good cleaning, it turned out to be as normal as any other penny. It was like a classic case of the penny that got away. But hey, I learned my lesson. Check the coin, don't just go by your gut. So, how do you tell if your 1964 penny is worth something? There are a couple of things to look out for: a coin in pristine condition, meaning no scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no rust, is going to be more valuable. If you find a 1964 D penny that's been kept in a safe, dry place and has almost no wear, you might have a winner. Look for double dies, misshapes, or unusual minting flaws. These are rare, but they do happen. Get your coin graded by a professional. There are services out there that can evaluate the coin's condition and rarity, and that can seriously increase its value. Keep an eye on the market. Coin values can fluctuate depending on demand and collector interest. What's worth a lot today might not be worth as much tomorrow, and vice versa. So, the 1964 D Lincoln penny may just look like another dusty old coin, but it could actually be worth up to $1.4 million. If you've got one in mint condition or with a rare error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But even if your 1964 D penny isn't a goldmine, it's still a pretty neat piece of history. I hope this video gave you some solid tips and maybe a little inspiration to start checking your pennies more closely. Because who knows? That coin you almost tossed aside might just be a rare gem. And hey, if you want more tips on coins worth money and all the insider info you need to become a coin expert, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join me on this coin collecting adventure, and let's find those hidden treasures together. Hey everyone! So, picture this: you're going through a jar of old pennies, thinking they're all just pocket change, right? But then, boom, you come across a 1966 penny with an MO mint mark. Wait, what? It's not just any ordinary penny, it's worth a whopping $1.5 million. I know, sounds like a dream, right? Well, believe it or not, some pennies really are worth more than most of us will make in a lifetime. Stick around as we dive into why the 1966 MO mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be your golden ticket to big bucks. Alright, let's break this down. First, you're probably wondering, what in the world is a 1966 MO mint mark penny? Well, most pennies minted in the US have either a P, D, or S mint mark. But the MO mint mark? That's a super rare mistake, actually, a misprint. The coin was supposed to have a regular D mint mark from the Denver Mint, but instead, it got stamped with MO as an error. This little oops in the minting process makes this penny incredibly valuable. And now, here's the kicker: the 1966 MO penny isn't just any rare find. A few of these rare pennies have been sold for up to $1.5 million. I know, it sounds insane. I remember the first time I found a coin in my change jar that wasn't a regular penny. I got all excited thinking I'd struck gold, only to realize it was just a 1983 penny with some weird tarnish. Not quite the same, huh? But imagine the thrill of finding a coin that's worth enough to buy a new car, pay off your student loans, or even take a trip to the moon. Well, maybe not the moon, but close. That's the magic of coins like the 1966 MO penny. This isn't just about luck, it's about knowing what you're looking for. So, how do you find a penny like this? First off, don't just go looking through your piggy bank. It's all about looking for that special MO mint mark, which most people overlook. The 1966 penny is already pretty valuable on its own, but when you find one with the MO mark, you're looking at a real treasure. These pennies are crazy rare and could easily go for six figures or more, depending on the condition. Now, don't go thinking all 1966 pennies are worth a ton. Only those with the right error are going to bring you the big bucks. If your 1966 penny looks a little scratched up or isn't in mint condition, it might not be worth much more than face value. But if it's in good shape? Well, you might just be looking at a $1.5 million coin. And that's not just some fantasy, people are getting paid serious money for these rare coins. It's like winning the lottery, but without having to buy a ticket. So here's the deal: if you've got a jar of old coins or even just a few pennies floating around your couch cushions, you might want to give them a second look. Who knows? You could be sitting on a small fortune. If you find that 1966 MO penny, you'll probably want to call an expert, but it could be your ticket to a huge payout. And let's be real, that would be a story worth telling. And before you go diving into your change jar like it's an episode of Hoarders, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips and tricks coming your way to help you spot coins that are actually worth money. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next big find. Hey there, coin lovers! Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that some pennies out there are worth more than your car, your house, or dare I say, your entire Netflix subscription bill? That's right. One particular penny, a 1967 with no mint mark, could be sitting in your pocket right now, just waiting to make you a small fortune. We're talking about a coin worth over $1.6 million. Sounds like a fairy tale? Stick with me, and I'll tell you exactly why this penny might just be the most valuable thing you own. No fairy godmother needed. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. So, here's the deal with this 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It was made at the US Mint, but there's a twist: this penny doesn't have a mint mark. That means it wasn't stamped with a letter like most of them, which is super rare. Normally, you'd find a D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco on your pennies, but this one? It's just, well, plain. No mint mark, no fuss, just pure historical gold, well, copper, but you get the idea. Now, you might be wondering, how in the world did a simple penny end up being worth $1.6 million? Good question. It all comes down to rarity and condition. You see, the 1967 no mint mark penny was produced in such limited numbers that not many of them have survived in pristine condition. You've probably heard of rare coins being worth money, but this one? It checks all the boxes: rarity, historical significance, and a splash of good old coin luck. To make things even crazier, finding a penny like this isn't like finding a shiny penny on the sidewalk. Oh, no. It's like stumbling upon a four-leaf clover in a field full of dandelions. Most people don't realize how rare this penny is, so they toss it in their pocket and forget about it. But for coin collectors, it's a holy grail, and here's where it gets even wilder. I remember when I was a kid, probably about 10 or 11, I found a penny in the parking lot while walking home from school. I picked it up and thought, this is lucky. I didn't know back then that some pennies could be worth a small fortune. Fast forward a few years, and I was reading about rare coins when I came across this exact penny, one I had probably passed over in my childhood without giving it a second glance, and let me tell you, I definitely wished I had known better. It made me realize just how much potential is hidden in these little coins. That's why I'm here today, so you don't make the same mistake I did. So, back to the 1967 no mint mark penny. It's worth big money, yes, but it's not just about the cash. It's a piece of American history. It's that little slice of nostalgia, and maybe, just maybe, it's tucked away in a drawer somewhere in your house right now. What are the odds? Well, let's just say, they're better than you think. Alright, folks, here's the deal: check your change. You never know what's sitting in your pocket or hidden away in that old jar of loose change collecting dust. I mean, if I had known back in the day what a rare coin could be worth, I'd have been a coin hunting pro by the age of 12. Now, before you go rummaging through your coin collection or your couch cushions, I have one more thing for you. If you want more tips, tricks, and strategies for finding coins that could be worth a fortune, hit that subscribe button and join the coin-loving community. We've got all sorts of valuable coin tips waiting for you. Plus, who knows? Maybe the next time you find a penny, it'll be worth more than a week's worth of coffee. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters. So, imagine this: you're digging through a jar of old pennies you found in your drawer, thinking, why on earth did I keep these? You're about to toss them in the trash, but then, hold up. What if I told you that one of those very pennies could be worth a fortune? Sounds like a plot twist, right? Well, today we're talking about a coin that's more valuable than your grandma's secret cookie recipe. Yep, I'm talking about the 2008 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It's not just any old penny. This bad boy is worth up to $1.7 million. I know, I can see the skepticism on your face, but stick with me, and I'll show you why this penny could change your life. And now, let's break this down. The 2008 D penny may seem like just another piece of change, but it's actually a rare gem in the world of numismatics. When most people think of valuable coins, they picture rare, old treasures like the 1909 SVDB penny or those magical 1943 copper pennies. But the 2008 D? It's one of the newer coins that slipped under the radar and is now worth a jaw-dropping $1.70 million. Here's why. In 2008, there was a very small batch of Lincoln pennies that were mistakenly minted with a unique error. This error made the coin significantly more valuable than it should have been. The D mint mark, which usually stands for the Denver Mint, became the key that unlocked this treasure. Not many of these errors are out there, so when they're found, they can go for big bucks. Think of it like stumbling upon a rare Pokemon card in a yard sale, the ones everyone's been hunting for but can't seem to find. Okay, but you're probably asking, how do I know if I've got one of these elusive coins? Great question. There are a few things to look for. First, check the mint mark. If it's a D, we're off to a good start. Next, look for the error. This usually shows up in the form of a slight misalignment or doubling of the design. If you've got a penny with those signs, you could be looking at a mini fortune. And just to add a little humor here, I remember the first time I found a coin with a D mint mark. I thought, alright, I'm gonna be rich. But it turned out to be just another common penny. So, moral of the story, not every D is a $1 million jackpot. But if you happen to strike gold with that 2008 D penny, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. So, what does all this mean for you? Keep searching, keep hunting, and always remember, one man's trash is another man's treasure. That old jar of pennies might just hold the key to your next big windfall. And hey, if you're still not sure how to spot these rare coins, don't sweat it. I've got your back. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and coin hunting strategies to help you discover valuable coins just like the 2008 D Lincoln penny. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next, because who knows, your next find might just be worth millions.